Okay.
Welcome to Make Up Your Life with me, your host, Devon. Today we have another amazing guest on our show, James MacKinnon, he's a renowned special effects artist to the stars and has an amazing portfolio and resume. A little bit about James MacKinnon. He's been in the industry for over 30 years. In film, television experience in all aspects of makeup, special effects, and design. He's won 5 Emmys that I know of, maybe even more. Star Trek Discovery, Nip Tuck, American Horror Story. Has 3 Makeup Artist and Hairstylist Guild Artisan Awards, numerous other Emmys for hair and makeup. Served as department head or key makeup artist on over 115 projects in his career, just to name a few: Fast and the Furious franchise, G.I. Joe 2, Priest, Halloween, H2O, Parks and Recreation, and Steve Jobs Biography. He's also the owner of Big Mac Trucks, which are trailers for hair and makeup and wardrobe for film sets. And then this was my favorite, the most recent. James, you were chosen for an Emmy on the Star Trek Picard, and you and your team gave a very impactful speech about women and how they have not been acknowledged in the industry like they should be. And you and your team made sure to say that you stand united with women. So that was amazing and probably the most powerful of all the research that I did. So welcome, James, and thank you so much for being here and helping to inspire up and coming makeup artists.
Good morning. 31 years of doing makeup, and I've seen a lot of changes, and it is now 6 Emmys. So yes, we did win last week for Picard for special effects makeup, and as well as you introduced me as a special effects makeup artist, but I consider myself in general a makeup artist. I don't like to put you're going to work more in this business if you're a makeup artist, which you can do special effects, you can do beauty, you can do some better than other, more better than more, or better than some. So just expand your knowledge, be able to come to set and know your basics, basic beauty if you're only an effects person, basic special effects makeup if you're just a beauty. And vice versa. So you want to be able to come in there and be able to do anything for the department head that hires you, unless you're specifically hired for prosthetics, unless you're specifically hired to come in and do beauty. But you will work more as the umbrella of a makeup artist in the movie business.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know you're well versed in everything, but definitely recognized for some of your amazing work, such as Star Trek. Yeah.
Yes. It's an amazing opportunity to be on that franchise. This is my 8th Star Trek TV series in my career, which is awesome too. So I've been around the galaxy quite a bit.
I love that.
You said, as I said in my speech, the prosthetics and is a male-dominated category for the Oscars, or excuse me, for the Emmys, but it's not it's not at all male-dominated. There are a lot of amazing women that do prosthetics and do beauty. Our Emmys changed our rules a little bit because they felt it was a popularity contest and people were double dipping, and they didn't want the same team from the same shows on all the same categories. But we really work really hard to create the beauty makeup because we're on TV shows, and we don't have really big massive budgets where we can hire just a special effects team and just a beauty team. We do both. We design the beauty, we design the prosthetics, we do both. And for us not to be on both tickets, we had to choose. And Sylvie, I would have had to get rid of my beauty category if I wanted Sylvie to come over to my prosthetic category. So she was not able to come with us. So I had to separate our team for these new rules, which don't make any sense to a lot of us. And we want everybody to be representative for what they do, hard work, men and women. But there was a lot of women in a time of, in the time we're at right now, where we should be giving everybody their right for what they work hard for and do. And she should have been on that category. And I should have been on the beauty category, but we're not talking about that.
Yeah, sounds like a whole lot of
We're-
politics, but
yeah,
regardless, you really made a statement, and I think
yes,
that was awesome, and it says so much to the
yeah.
community in general. So
It's about
let's
stepping forward. It's about stepping forward, not stepping back. Don't make changes where there's not issues, where everybody can be represented in all categories.
Yeah, I love that. I really love that. So let's bring you back to when you first discovered your love for makeup.
Yes. It was in 1980. The movie Friday the 13th just came out in the theaters. And my mom took me to the theaters to see The Jungle Book, the cartoon, a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not the last three that they've made, but and there was Friday the 13th playing next door, and I kind of peeked in there, and when I walked in, Jason was hacking somebody with a hatchet, and I'm like, that is amazing. I would love, basically, I want to research that. I want to see what that is about at age 10. And I was living in Colorado in a trailer park, so resources, books were not at my beck and call back then. But there was a magazine called Fangoria at that time. And I got a couple of magazines. I sold some cans that me and the guy that was in the trailer next door to me, we would go search for cans, and we'd save up our money recycling cans to buy a Fangoria magazine so we could look in it. So that kind of was my first what you call it. I mean, and we lived in the mountains a little bit, so I didn't have a lot of the older movies, which I've now became super fans of, the 1920s, 30s, 40s horror monsters, which led me to practice, make things up, and just hone my craft, I guess, at age 10, where most people would go, you're not going to be a makeup artist in Colorado. You're going to be
Right.
a garbage collector, or just, hunt for a living for the rest of your life, which is not a bad thing either. But when I had said to my teachers, I'm like, I want to become a makeup artist, they're like, oh, that's interesting. That's not normal for a young man to say that out loud. And I didn't take that no lightly. And I packed up my car after graduation and moved to California and clipped a little ad in the back of that Fangoria magazine, which was a school called the Institute of Studio Makeup. And I packed my little Toyota MR2 and moved to California, and that was it. The rest is history. It was tough. It's tough. It's a tough business. It took many, many years to get in the union, which is a process and an amazing process if that's the route you want to go. It's just a lot of hard work and a lot of passionate time put into making this the career that you want. It's not a part-time gig. It's a full-time, amazing career. I don't have a job. I have a career. That's why I keep saying career.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you shared your humble beginnings, because I think, we have so many students that graduate and had the resources and the network and the education right from the get and feel discouraged. And
But
so this is exactly what I want to hear from our guests, that when you love it, when you are so passionate about it, you will find a way, and not allowing things to discourage you. So
yeah.
What a great start to our interview.
Yeah, I think you don't have to. I mean, would it have been great if my parents paid for everything? Yes, and an opportunity, if somebody has that, parents to be able to pay, or you've worked really hard to pay for your school, but it does not come as, if that happens, you have a free ride right into a movie or right into a TV show. There's no guarantees of any of it. It's all guaranteed by what you choose to do to make that position what you want it to be. If you want to, do print, if you want to do weddings, if you want to do TV, if you want to do films. Some people just do films, some people just do TV shows. So it's the route that you want to take and you want to get to. Nobody's going to pay or help that process. It's only you that's going to get you in there.
Yeah. So you talked about, getting into the union, and that was, you didn't have overnight success. It was many, many years of continuing to work towards building your career. When did you know you could finally make a living? Maybe you weren't juggling 10 different jobs, right, to continue your career. When did you finally say, okay, I can actually make a full-time living?
I made a living at it, but again, in the late 80s, things were a lot cheaper, but money was a lot less coming in. So when I made $150 a day, I thought that was all the money in the world, and that paid for everything. So I think your time period, it's expensive nowadays, but people are making, $1,000 a day instead of $100 a day back then. So it's all relative to the time. I think I was, I probably, when I joined the union, was the time where that bigger chunk, which took it took 7 years to be able to get because to join the union, it's back then it was 50, or now it's 60 days a 60 days a year for 5 years within a 3-year period, which I can get into later. Is so basically that was the point where I'm wearing a ring. My first TV show that I got after joining the union, I bought a platinum ring, and I still wear it today. It was like the first little thing I gave myself for making it and being able to afford something nice. So it was but I did make a living for it, and I want to say that you don't have to make $1,000 a day to say that I'm making a living, or I've made it. It could be whatever it is, but nobody should, in today's society, nobody should ever be working for free or doing anything for free. Everybody's making money. Producers have money. I know things are low budget, but low budget is big budget now. Back when I started, a $30 million movie was massive, and now they're $250 million, and they say they don't have any money. So if they don't have money for your pay, ask for a nice kit fee. So don't waste your product on somebody that should be paying for your makeup that you have to go on to the next job. You shouldn't go to the next job empty-handed, because nobody's going to give you $100 for your kit fee because they can't pay you. So make sure you're getting reimbursed for your products, because they're not cheap, very expensive now, but get something out of somebody. Free is okay when you're going to do your girlfriend's friend for a wedding for a second, but there shouldn't be anything. There's no reason to work for free.
Yeah, this has always been a struggle in this industry. I used to, when I did teach, I would say to my students, would you walk into your accountant's office and ask, hey, can you do my taxes for free?
I do that too to my Keith, but I'm joking, and see if he'll give me a discount. But no, I'm just kidding. There is money out there for everybody. Like I'm bidding out on a project right now, and I know that company makes so much money, but it's their job to come back and say, oh, we don't have a big budget. So you have to get used to that, but don't get discouraged by it. When you tell them how you feel and what you want for that show and what you want to create for them, they go, oh, this is what we want. We want somebody that's passionate, that's going to do this. There's a reason why you asked for that $7 to build that monster. There's a reason behind it. And most of the time they'll go, oh, we understand that.
Yeah, I think it's and in this world anyways, it's just about educating and educating your opponent, if you will. So exactly. You've always made a living. So when you arrived in California, you went to school right away, and right out of school you started making a living doing makeup, or was there
I have a few routes. So basically when I worked at Taco Bell in Colorado, I transferred. I made I was there for I worked at Taco Bell for 6 years. So in theory, I came out to California without a backup plan. I didn't know what I was going to do if makeup didn't work out. So, but that made me that I rather that route of that than to think, oh, if I fail, I couldn't fail. So Taco Bell wasn't my second. I did transfer to the Taco Bell by Warner Brothers Studios on Barham, but that's now a hot dog place. But I transferred there not for the job, just to be able to have funds while I went to makeup school. Um, and then I met a couple people, and I ended up becoming a character, a walk around character at Universal Studios. So I was able to quit Taco Bell, and at least I was at a studio watching makeup artists go in and out of stages downstairs while I was running around in a rubber mask at 150 degrees outside, or 100 degrees outside with a 150-degree rubber mask on. But I was in Hollywood. I was in the studios. I was immersing myself in it. Not that that was going to get me a job in the studios, but at least I was keeping with my feeling of being around there.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
then
Smart move.
it led to friends, and it led to knowing shop people. Then it led to meeting Howard Berger at because my friend Jeff Himmel, which is one of the first people that I met, he works at K&B, and he's makes amazing. 1 second, sorry, he makes amazing fake animals and stuff for Howard. It's just it's a it's a it's a natural growth surrounding yourself where you want to be, and in the end. So right after makeup school, um, one of the other students got a job doing a movie, and he got fired. I was his key. He got fired for some reason. I'm not sure how. And I took over as a department head, or key back then. Really, department head's kind of new for the situation, but key meant you were the head. Uh, and if somebody says that in the future, they're like, "Are you the key?" Which means you are the makeup artist. Um, and I took over, and I haven't stopped working since. That led to me meeting. There's an actor, Adrian Zemed from T.J. Hooker. He took me on to his next show. Then I met an actress that took me on to her next show. That producer from that movie took me on to their next movie. And these are super low budget, like $30,000 movies. But back then, that was enough to keep the ball rolling. Which, in the end, I have to most of my career, and I'm going to admit this, and I have never admit. There's a gentleman named Michael Pfeiffer, and his father Jerry Pfeiffer. They owned a company called Vista Street Entertainment, and I'm not really sure how I bumped into Mike, but he really started my career. Basically, he got me my union days on all these cheesy horror movies, basically witchcraft series, witchcraft 1 through. I didn't do ones. I did 2 through 8 or something like that. And 8 I did with Bart Mixon, which is amazing special effects artist. So that popped me into knowing Bart. So, and then he goes, "We want you to shoot a movie. You pay for half of it. We'll give you the other half. And when you give us the end result, you get the other chunk back." So I produced and directed a movie in 1994 called Crystal Force 2, which I realize now I don't want to be a director. But I created a movie too, which is kind of cool. 95 minutes with credits, and it's super cheesy. I can't even say it's a horror movie, but it's horrible, but it's cool. If anybody wants to check it out, Crystal Force 2. It's horrible, but I did it.
Where would we find that?
Um, you can get it online, I think. It used to be a Blockbuster.
All right.
Yeah, it's so horrible, but I think I used one of the Wolfman masks and the Harry and the Henderson hair suit from Universal. Not that I took it, but we borrowed it to shoot while we were there for a second, and just making things up to create it.
I love that, but that's
Yeah.
part of being a creative, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
essentially can jump in and navigate, problem solve, and
yeah,
get it done.
we shot around Los Angeles without permits. This is a long time ago, and nobody said a thing. We're like shooting at coffee shops, shooting in everywhere, and nobody said a word. Now you couldn't walk outside without a camera, without somebody was going, "What are you doing?" Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
well, especially in this day and age. So that was my next question,
yeah.
which you partially answered. Who were some of your biggest influencers? And you named a few, and who got your career started. But anyone else that like an influencer or a mentor that really
Yeah,
you hold near and dear to your heart?
I do. Uh, two names are very popular, and one name is not. Sagano. She doesn't have a last name. Sagano is a makeup artist in 706. She was kind of the one that took me under her wing and helped me uh, culminate my days with Vista Street to make sure that I was in and I knew everything. So Sagano is an amazing part of my life. Um, Michael Westmore, obviously, with um, Star Trek. He gave me opportunities that I are forever have changed my life. And then Miss Neal, V. Neal, she gave me, just back knowing these, or trying, not knowing, but trying to meet these amazing makeup artists back in the day without Instagram and without what you call it. You had to send them a letter or call them and leave a message on their house phone before cell phones and stuff. So V gave me an amazing opportunity to do one of the first Batmans, uh, to day play with her, and then that led to Amistad, and then I met Billy Corso. Um, so it it's just everybody, even young kids now are my mentors because they're just as I'm still passionate about this. I pick and choose my jobs and want to do cool stuff where I can hire a bunch of people like Picard because we hired 260 some artists on season one. Big stuff. So I'm giving back a little bit. Like I don't want to say, V was there for me. Now I want to be there for kids because I have another 15 years and I can kind of retire, I guess. But um,
You would,
everybody's
I suspect you would be bored, but that's for another day, right?
well, I would have to clean and fix trailers. That's my retirement plan. But these young kids nowadays are super talented, and I don't go, oh, I'm James MacKinnon. I don't learn and watch and I watch all these young kids with their new techniques and stuff that I might not know of, and I watch them all day when they're shooting. They might think that I'm in there judging them, but I'm actually looking at what they're doing, what products they're using, what things, because sometimes they have a little more access than I do because as a department head, you're running around going to meetings or this. I still do all my makeups. Some department heads are like, I can only do meetings and schedule. I don't have time for makeups. No, I don't do that to myself. I still work 100 hours on set and do my 5 makeups that I have to do every day. So to keep myself busy and challenged and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean everybody. I mean everybody. Rick Baker, Howard Berger, they're all mentors. Anybody that's fantastic and still after 30 years um, has the drive to keep doing this like I do. I appreciate it because it's tough. It's tough business.
And do they, people like V and Westmore and um
Yeah,
do they know this? Do they know how
yeah,
much they impacted your life? I mean,
they do.
is
They
this
do.
something you would go and, have cocktails and just say, connect
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
and
Yeah, yeah. Don't not reach out. Don't tell people how you feel about them because most of the stuff we tell people nowadays is crap and we it's just the internet's crazy. So yeah, take a minute and tell somebody. Mike signed his Makeup Man book, and what he wrote in there was powerful. It was amazing. And I don't, I've been lucky enough to do all these Star Trek films. I don't never feel that I'm the new Mike Westmore or replace him or be that person. I'm just lucky enough to work on all these TV shows, and for him to say what he said is absolutely amazing.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, yeah.
So everyone deems themselves successful in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's how many credits you're on, sometimes it's how many assets you acquire. So, with that being said, when did you feel like you reached success? What was a turning point, and what was your, um, what how did you measure that? In your eyes, I know we're always in this society where we're run by goals and achievements and all these things. So, and maybe you don't, oh, this is my goal. This is my, maybe you run things differently in your life to continue to climb
Yeah.
and, continue your journey in your career. So what would you say is success? And then when did you feel like you reached it?
I think I've had success from day one because I've been passionate. I a passionate. It's all every show is a success. So it's not 15 years into it. I've done 25 shows and that's my pinnacle. And I've won an Emmy. The Emmys are great. Uh, they're not. They don't make you a better artist. They're just a nice extra congratulations for the job well done you did as a team, because it's all about teamwork in this. I didn't. Those Emmys have a whole bunch of hands on them. It's not just me that won that. It's everybody that comes in and day plays. So I think it's my success has been from day one in the aspect of each show. I go into 100%, do 100%, walk out of there, or stay on there for however long it is, and do it the best I can. And I have that in the past, and I can go, because if I look at my IMDb page, I go, that's pretty great. I don't think I've actually worked on a crappy show or bad show. Every show I putting myself into is just that next great chapter in my life. Does it matter if I've done 115 shows? No, 50 shows would be great too. It's just choosing those great shows to have that great career. Um, I, I couldn't put a date on it because each year is a gratifying aspect of it. That's cool that I've purposely put myself for each thing or each year to be great. Would I love to win an Oscar? Absolutely. Is it in my goals? Yes. Is it going to happen? Absolutely not. Is it maybe happen? Absolutely. So I don't know, but I'm not going, I'm taking only that job because it might win me an Oscar. I'm going to take that job because it might be cool. It might be
Yeah.
great, not that aspect of it. Or I'm going to take a job because I'm going to work with Richard Redlifson, or I'm going to work with Chris Nelson or Aaron Kruger. I'm going to take those types of jobs more than in anything. And then those types of career great things, like the groups of people that I meet throughout the years. That is where I feel like I'm my career has made it. That I've kept and created friendships throughout all these years. And all these.
I love that. I love that you're focused on the journey. So many of us, whether you're in our industry or not,
Yeah.
are just focused on that goal, on that milestone. And I love, what you're saying, that it's really about the journey. And yes, there is a goal in mind, such
Yeah.
as an Oscar, but I'm enjoying where I am and moving towards, moving up, or maybe it's not up, just continuing to move and grow.
Yeah,
So I love
you
that.
got to make a little more money each show. You got to make
Sure.
a bigger kit each show, but there is a max. There's a max that we are going to make as makeup artists. You can't go in there and say I want $3,000 an hour. Well, you can, but that's for like a photo shoot or something. But there's a max that we make. There's actually a minimum. So our union, is the minimum we're going to make. There's not a max to it. So you can achieve to uh, what they call overscale. So do I work for scale? Absolutely. Have to. Even with one movie we did Priest together, and they didn't have enough to be like, V, you get $700 an hour, James, you get $500 an hour, whatever it is. Those are lies, but we have to work for what that show is going to pay. You can't go, oh, I've won an Oscar, I've won 6 Emmys, I only make this kind of money. You're doing it because it's a cool project, which we did. And I actually I was doing Parks and Rec, been there for a couple seasons, and Autumn Butler was my keys, and I left at the end of one of the seasons. I'm like, Autumn, just take over the show. I'm going to do a movie with V. And she's like, oh, that's a great opportunity. I'm like, yeah, when Neil calls, you don't go, no, I'm not available. You go, absolutely. Right. Even though you don't even know what it is, you just say yes, which I did. So that was an amazing opportunity, and that led to something and that led to this, and that led to that. So it was but I never left. And this is the other good thing. I never left Parks and Rec, really, because I left my friend and my amazing makeup artist, Autumn, and she took over, and now she does Amy Poehler, and now she does all those people. So that led her to better. Not that I take credit for it, but that led her to better. That led me to better, and I still got to come back when that movie was done and day play on Parks and Rec. So it's a manipulation of cool stuff for everybody, where she's still got a gig. I didn't quit where she lost a job. You gave it to her.
Yeah, absolutely. You gave her, opportunity for sure.
Yeah, and I still get to play. Like with Aaron Kruger, we did Nip Tuck together. I left Nip Tuck to go do Alias, and that led me to a different world. Aaron stayed and then took over that aspect, which has been amazing for her. I still get to go play with her. She gets to come play with me. She's got a gig, I got a gig. We all give each other gigs and make sure everybody's taken care of, because we're all friends and pals and yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
What does the future hold for you? You've already done so much.
I haven't done enough. I haven't done it all yet. No, absolutely not. What does the future hold?
Well, I know you're a creative. You like to, and I think you're a really great entrepreneur. The whole,
I am a businessman.
Big Mac trucks. You are a businessman, yes.
But you have to be a businessman in this industry too, because you are making deals for yourself. So if you don't have an agent, you have to go in there as a businessman or a businesswoman and make your deal. Because again, they're going to go, we only have $6, and you go say, I want 7. And you have to. It's like buying a car. You have to walk out and say, I'm not paying 6. I want 7. It's usually the opposite, but you have to stand up for yourself and what you feel you're worth. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what do you think? What do you think you might dabble into next? Because I know you've done a few little things.
Well,
right?
I'm doing a couple. I'm prepping I guess I can't say exactly what I'm doing, but I'm prepping a little movie that I'm going to do a couple look-alike character makeups, which is fun. Those are great because those are tough and hard to do, because realism is harder than a big alien, because an alien you can hide so much and overlap stuff. These small pieces, like Richard Redlifson and Vivian Baker and Kazu on Bombshell, all those soft, petite character makeups are super, super hard. Everybody thinks, oh, it's a little teeny thing, but it's a little teeny thing on the side of Charlize's cheek is super, super hard to hide, and to me, it takes more talent. It's even like on Star Trek. It's like Spock, Ethan Peck. They're like, oh, that must be faster. It's not a big forehead, but putting an eyebrow blocker and a lace brow on a dude with perfect skin is super, super hard. It's harder than throwing a forehead on, because you're hiding everything instead of these little rings that could pop out on camera. So it's painting. And they think, oh, it must be faster. It takes a little longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm. I don't know what my future is. My future is continuing where I'm at, because I'm on a roll of this great path that I'm on, and I don't really want to change it. Again, I'm picking and choosing bigger and better projects that challenge me as a makeup artist. Growing Big Mac trailers to be bigger and better for the future, and nicer trailers.
Well, and aren't you a newlywed? So isn't this?
Yes.
Yes.
Got married.
Congratulations.
June 27th, we got married. COVID wedding.
COVID style, yeah.
COVID style wedding, yeah. A couple of people here, mostly everybody on Zoom, everybody 6 feet apart. Yeah, I mean, I think just things in life, my wife is Canadian, so we might buy a little, maybe get a little where she's from in Calgary and Banff. We might get a little second house to be able just to get away for a second. So those are the great things that my hard work throughout all these years have paid off to be able to do all that stuff. And it doesn't mean you have to buy a house for it to pay off. You could buy a car. You could not have a car payment. Those kind of things are great things to strive for, and have 6 months of savings in your account. That's one thing. Oh, that's what I want to say. We all don't know what's going to happen in the world, and this coronavirus thing is much longer than I think everybody has thought. And so just savings and put away money, not to give anybody a lesson, but you never know what's going to happen. There could be a strike, there could be there could be a coronavirus. So just save and make sure you're taken care of, just in case you don't have a backup plan and you can't work at Taco Bell because you're only a makeup artist, that you have a little, just in case something happens like this crap, that you're okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We always try to stress this to any makeup artist. I mean, sometimes it's seasonal. Sometimes, you have bigger jobs than others. Let's not spend it all in one.
Oh yeah. Oh, I want to say
one
that.
sweep.
Yeah. Even at 31 years, I am just the same as a makeup artist that starts today. I do not have a full-time job. I do not have a full-time makeup gig. I am unemployed, just like every other makeup artist from old to new. We all don't have a 35-year makeup job. We are unemployed every 5 months, 3 months, every season. So it's a process that I still do, just like a new person does. I got to look for a gig on the next job. I got to meet somebody that's going to take me on to the next show. It doesn't just go away. I'm pounding the pavement just as hard as day one.
Yeah.
Never goes away.
Yeah.
Never goes
Absolutely.
away. Yeah.
Well, this is when you want to be in control of your own destiny. That's part of what you sign up for, right?
Yeah.
So going back to leaving Colorado and, some of maybe the naysayers, whether it was school teachers or we all know in this industry, we lack support, which is why it's such a tight community, because, the support that you get is from within, not usually who you expect it from, whether it be family or best friends or teachers or mentors. So before we end our interview, I'd love to know if how you feel about their initial reaction, and also how they might feel now that you really have done very well despite their feelings on your career choice.
Let's see, how do I word that? Really all I cared is my parents were supportive. Anybody else's opinions I don't really care about, because they are not me and they're not going to be me. And I would just say they're more ignorant because they don't know about it or what it is or something. Like in Colorado, makeup artists, they're ignorant, probably more ignorant about it and I don't say that in a bad way. It's just they don't know what that means and or what that is. So they don't know. They only know car salesman and they only know lawyer or whatever. But as long as my parents were supportive, which they were, that's all I really cared about, because we're in a society today that everybody's judging everybody for every move that they make, and it's crazy. Instead of just telling somebody, great job, go get it, we insult people way too much on any of these, and on every move that everybody makes. And even with our beauty masterclass, it's like we always tell people, when we're giving you guys critiques, we're not giving you judgments. These are things to make you better makeup artists, not saying you did wrong. Nobody did anything wrong. They're just learning. And I have makeups where I can't figure out what color to put on there. And Richard's like, put that color. And I'm like, tsk, and it's the perfect thing. So it was the perfect color that my mind couldn't grasp to paint it. So I'm losing track on the question, but I
Well,
think
yeah, I was just going to say, so what if your parents didn't support you? Would you have still pursued your dream? Because you said really that's all that mattered to you.
would I? Absolutely, because then again, there are the two, whatever you decide to do in your life, if your parents disagree or not, you still can't, you still have to do it for yourself. Yeah. No, I mean, they could have went, no, that's not a good idea, but that's your choice to take that path and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, then you try something else. There's a lot of people in this industry that have started in this later, have done another path and changed, or vice versa. They're like, this is not for me. I've done this for 10 years. There was a makeup artist that left and moved to Texas or something and started a gallery and stuff, and an amazing painter. And that's not that she failed as a makeup artist, but that was a better path. That was the right path for her. So take that path no matter what it is. Hopefully you have the support of your family members, but I wouldn't take a teacher or a negative. I would take a positive, but I wouldn't take a negative from anybody saying that that's a bad idea, because it's your idea.
Well, and I always say, we just end up resenting, whether it's our spouse or our family or our friend,
Yeah.
when they don't allow us to really become who we desire to become.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then there's just resentment. So
Yeah,
it's not good.
and
It's
you
not
can't,
good for everyone.
and you can't come into this. You cannot come into this business with resentment, because I got rid of Bitter Party of One magazine subscription a long time ago, because it's a tough business. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of huevos to do this. You guys have eggs too. It takes a lot in this business to do this and keep it up, and you have to work so many hours to have your insurance, 400 hours a quarter to have your insurance. So it takes a lot to do it, but it does pay off when you're ready for it and commit to it.
Well, before we end, I just want to ask you, what
Yeah.
piece of advice would you give to our listeners who are aspiring artists and struggling to get their career off the ground? What piece of advice, it's easy to, and maybe you didn't feel this way, but I've definitely mentored many, many students, or
Yeah.
even, artists that are established,
Yeah.
and just encourage them to keep going, even when it seems like there's not a lot going on, or you didn't get the gig you had hoped for, or the move didn't work out.
Yeah.
What piece of advice, what piece of encouragement maybe would you leave them with?
Oof, that's a big one. I would say if there's a variety, it might be a little long. If you want to go the shop route, when you're going into a shop, give them 4 great things that you've done. Don't give them a big portfolio. Give them your best. If you're in the wanting to go the route of set stuff, practice, learn from who you want to be, not, I don't want to say Instagram, but learn from the people that you want to learn from to become when you go to set, and when you're there, they're going to know that you've taken that time to know what it takes to be on the set with Aaron Kruger or myself. Take that extra step, because in school you only learn up to a certain point. You don't learn. There's a big gap between school. You learn so much in school, but there's the gap between school and the knowledge that you're really going to need to know to do it. So that's honing that path before you get to set. My brain went off on a tangent, and I just think work hard. I don't even know what to say.
Well, I think everything you've said throughout this interview has been wonderful and great advice for them. I just try and leave them with some kind of empowerment, because they don't all have the support that some of us had.
Yeah, but you make your own support. Again, forget the negativity, forget you can't do it. You can do it if you want to do it. So work hard, don't work for free, get your ass out there, get a job in what, and it doesn't have to be, if you want to do movies, do some weddings, do some again, we're in COVID, so there's a little different once things start picking up, but be safe, get out there and keep honing your craft. So when you have that moment, that when you're there, you are at 100%. I'm trying to say how I would give myself the advice. Because I'm in the same situation. I mean, I'm unemployed just like everybody else right now. Finally, things are starting back up, but you guys, you can do it. Here's the thing: you spent the money, or your parents spent the money for you to go to makeup school, and or you're self-taught and you think you're amazing. Take that knowledge and go to the next step with it 100%. Never go into it at 99 because you're not going to make it 100% all the time. Because what I expect when you come to the set and do a makeup with me is 100%. You can't bring your crappy problems at home. I can't bring my crappy problems at home. Not that I have any. That's not true. You know what I mean? Work is a separate place from your home. You go on set. You don't talk on your iPad and your phone all day. You don't text all day. You pay attention. You're getting paid a ton of money to sit around all day. Clean, go to a department head and go, hey, James, what can I do for you? That then goes, oh, Joe took the initiative to say, hey, what can I do while I'm hectic running around? I will remember that in the future and go, hey, we need somebody. Let's hire Joe or Mary.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, professionalism is a whole nother
podcast, a whole nother 48 right? Minutes. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, James MacKinnon, for being with us. A little plug, you have your beautymasterclass.com business. I highly recommend. We are looking to put that into our alumni program here because we'd love for our students to continue education with you.
Thank you.
And also Big Mac Trailers.
BigMacTrailers.com. Yeah. With a K, MacKtrailers.com. Yeah, it's good. You can check it out.
Absolutely.
It's all great stuff. And again, it's all business related in the aspect of it all just keeps culminating in movie business. But again, here's another thing. Your personal life has to evolve and be strong too. So yes, this movie business, but don't forget about your home life because it can overwhelm you, taking you out of town for a long time. So there's a great balance that you got to figure out with the movie business and home business, because we do live a carny's life, running around and traveling and we literally it's the circus, and it's one thing I do when I go into a budget. They go, oh, that's too expensive. I'm like, well, elephants are expensive. If you write the circus comes to town, it's expensive. If you can't afford the circus, don't write it. Clowns are expensive.
I love that. I love that. All right. Well, thank you. We won't hold you up. We know you have lots of stuff to do, working on the trailers, getting things ready, getting back to work. Thank you so much for your time, James. We wish you the very, very best in the next, as being a newlywed and overcoming all that COVID has brought. Thanks for your time. And we will definitely be in contact soon.
Be safe, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.